Today is 19th of August 2025. Markets closed firmly positive as hopes of GST 2.0 boosted autos, FMCG, and retail, while financials rode the prospect of stronger credit demand. Policy signals, John Vishwas 2.0 and a reform huddle underpinned sentiment. Geopolitically, Jaishankar Wang Yi talks struck a cautiously constructive note, and Putin briefed PM Modi on the Alaska summit with Trump. Autos led on tax cut hopes. QuickCommerce escalated discounts to lock in festival volumes. Lenders in primary markets gained from improving breadth and CB's float discussion. Top companies in focus, TataSteel, sentiment positive. Bombay High Court annulled a tax reassessment order issued by the wrong authority, removing a sizable potential liability for TataSteel. The case turns on process, faceless assessment versus jurisdictional AO, creating an immediate relief and lowering litigation risk. For investors, this clarifies near-term cash flow uncertainty and supports focus on the core capex and deleveraging cycle. While steel pricing remains cyclical, the ruling is a clean positive for governance certainty and reduces a headline overhang. Zomato, Blinkit, sentiment neutral. QuickCommerce is firing discount missiles. Blinkit versus Zepto, Instamart, Flipkart Minutes, BB Now, and Amazon Now. Expect higher order volumes, combo packs, and sharper price points into the festive window, especially as some offline purchases are deferred while GST cuts are awaited. For Zomato, this is a classic trade-off. Share gains and frequency versus near-term contribution margins. Watch unit economics, delivery fee experimentation, and category mix as the pricing game heats up. MarutiSuzuki, sentiment positive. With GST 2.0 likely to reduce effective taxes on small cars, India's leading PV maker stands to benefit from improved affordability at the entry and compact segments. The stock outperformed as the auto index led sectoral gains. Key to monitor: implementation timelines, inventory normalization at dealers, and festive bookings. If rate cuts follow later, the demand impulse could extend through FY26, supporting utilization and mix. Hero MotoCorp, sentiment positive. Two-wheelers are the most price-elastic pocket of autos. A simpler, lower GST structure can nudge millions of fence-sitters back into the market, particularly in commuter and executive motorcycles. Hero rallied with the pack. Near-term, channel checks on rural-urban mix and retail finance availability remain important. Structurally, any tax relief should translate to volumes and operating leverage for incumbents. Mahindra & Mahindra, sentiment positive. Beyond SUVs, tractors could see sentiment support from a friendlier tax environment and steady monsoon outlook. M&M participated in the auto-led rally. Medium-term, product refresh cycles and supply normalization set the stage. Any policy-led demand kicker adds to earnings visibility. Monitor booking run rates into the festive season and commentary on rural cash flows. Nestlé India, sentiment positive. Consumption counters perked up as a simpler GST regime would aid pricing clarity and throughput in packaged foods. Nestlé's premiumization strategy benefits from stable input costs and festival season consumption. A leaner tax structure could also streamline trade incentives and working capital across channels. Blue Star, sentiment neutral. Management tone underscores a transition period before any GST cut benefits fully flow. Dealers are cautious on stocking as they await tax clarity. Over the medium term, a simpler regime should boost white goods demand, aided by summer season normalization and a potentially easier rate backdrop. BajajFinance, sentiment positive. Retail lenders benefit indirectly as a consumption upcycle lifts demand for two-wheeler, auto, and consumer durable loans. BajajFinance is well-placed given its reach and product breadth. Near-term watch points, credit cost discipline, and competitive intensity in small-ticket credit. L&T Finance Holdings, sentiment positive. Improving retail momentum and potential auto demand make the backdrop constructive for lenders. L&TFH continues to pivot towards retail assets. A stronger secondary market also aids funding conditions. Execution on asset mix and cost of funds will be key. ShriramFinance, sentiment positive. Exposure to commercial vehicles and rural borrower-based positions, Shriram to benefit from both consumption and logistics cycles. GST clarity could spur fleet upgrades. Watch disbursement trends and asset quality. Escorts Kubota, sentiment positive. Tractor demand could see a nudge from affordability and rural income stability if policy and monsoon align. Escorts participates as a beneficiary. Operating leverage and product mix remain drivers through the festive quarter. Bata India, sentiment positive. Potential GST move to 5% at lower price points can stimulate volumes and footfalls in mass footwear. Bata's brand equity and value in mid-range should help capture demand recovery. Margin mix depends on promotional intensity and input costs. Relaxo Footwears, sentiment positive. A tax-led improvement in value price points directly benefits Relaxo's core mass portfolio. Expect distribution velocity and rural recovery to be the swing factors alongside any channel-led promotions in the festive period. Campus Activewear, sentiment positive. Athleisure sits at the intersection of value and aspiration. GST simplification plus festival demand can lift throughput. Product cadence and D2C marketplace balance will guide margins. Dabur India, sentiment positive. Re-rating chatter returns as urban demand lifts and GST simplification aids mass categories. Near term, watch input cost trends in rural recovery. Medium term, execution in healthcare, personal care, and modern trade should sustain growth. Union Bank of India, sentiment positive. In the DHFL matter, NCLT declared Kapilwadhawan bankrupt following failed repayment plans. As a lead creditor, Union Bank gains traction towards recoveries. Timing and realizations remain variables, but legal momentum is a tailwind. HDFC Bank, sentiment neutral. Featured across recent offer documents as sponsor collection bank, with better secondary tone, the primary market pipeline is strengthening. This is flow accretive, but not a discrete earnings catalyst. Loan growth and margins remain the core drivers. VikramSolar, unlisted, sentiment neutral. IPO analysis highlights strong growth, backward integration, and BESS optionality, but valuation screens premium versus peers. Long-only investors may accept the multiple for strategy and execution. Others could wait for price discovery. Patel Retail, unlisted, sentiment neutral. Prospective public offer adds to broadening retail consumer pipeline. Fundamentals and pricing to determine investor appetite closer to launch. Captain Fresh, InfiFresh Foods, sentiment positive. Plans of 1,700 crore primary raise to scale B2B seafood supply chains across India and export markets. Category leadership and prior funding traction add credibility. Execution and working capital cycles remain key monitors. That's your concise yet complete brief for August 19, 2025. Stay tuned for more updates.